Welcome to BioPrime Health, where we transform scientific research into practical protocols for optimal human performance. Today, we're addressing one of the most common fitness challenges: eliminating stubborn fat from specific problem areas. While countless programs promise spot reduction and targeted fat loss, the scientific literature reveals a more nuanced reality about how our bodies actually mobilize and eliminate adipose tissue. For decades, the fitness industry has perpetuated the myth that you can selectively reduce fat from specific areas through targeted exercises. Countless magazine covers promising "lose belly fat fast" or "tone your arms in 10 days." However, research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research definitively demonstrates that spot reduction is physiologically impossible through exercise alone. When your body mobilizes fat for energy, it does so systematically throughout the entire body, not preferentially from the areas being exercised. But this doesn't mean all hope is lost. Modern research has uncovered specific physiological mechanisms that do influence regional fat distribution and mobilization. By understanding these mechanisms, we can implement evidence-based protocols that optimize whole-body fat loss while maximizing results in traditionally stubborn areas. The primary reason certain areas store more fat relates to the distribution of alpha and beta adrenergic receptors. Research in the American Journal of Physiology shows that stubborn fat areas, typically lower abdomen and hips for men, and hips, thighs, and lower body for women, contain a higher ratio of alpha-2 to beta-2 receptors. Beta-2 receptors facilitate fat mobilization, while alpha-2 receptors inhibit it. This physiological difference explains why these problem areas are often the first to gain fat and the last to lose it. Additionally, these stubborn areas typically have less blood flow compared to other regions, making it more difficult for mobilized fatty acids to enter the bloodstream and be transported to muscles for oxidation. This creates a double challenge. Fat in these areas is both harder to mobilize and harder to transport once mobilized. So what does the research show actually works? Let's examine the evidence-based approaches to maximize fat loss in problem areas. First, prioritize overall fat loss through a consistent caloric deficit. A meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Obesity, examining 33 studies, found that a moderate caloric deficit of 500 to 750 calories per day produces optimal fat loss while preserving lean muscle mass. Larger deficits often lead to muscle loss and metabolic adaptation that ultimately impedes progress. The research clearly shows that consistency with a moderate deficit outperforms aggressive cutting approaches. Second, optimize your macronutrient composition. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrates that higher protein intake, 1.6 or 2.2 grams per kilograms of body weight daily, significantly enhances fat loss from stubborn areas while preserving lean muscle. Protein's thermogenic effect, requiring approximately 25 to 30% of its calories for digestion, further enhances fat loss. Additionally, studies show maintaining adequate dietary fat, at least 0.5 g per kilogram body weight, optimizes hormonal function critical for fat mobilization. Third, implement strategic fasted training. While spot reduction through exercise isn't possible, research in the Journal of Physiology shows that training in a fasted state significantly increases catecholamine levels, which preferentially activate lipolysis, fat breakdown, in stubborn areas with high alpha-2 receptor density. A 2019 study demonstrated that subjects performing moderate intensity cardio, 60 to 70% of max heart rate, in a fasted state showed 17 to 23% greater mobilization of fatty acids from stubborn areas compared to fed state exercise. The timing of this fasted training proves critical. Research in the International Journal of Obesity found peak effectiveness when performed in the morning after an overnight fast, when insulin levels are naturally at their lowest. The protocol showing optimal results involves 30-45 minutes of steady-state cardio at moderate intensity, maintaining heart rate between 120 to 140 BPM for most individuals. Fourth, incorporate high-intensity interval training, HIIT, strategically. While fasted moderate cardio enhances fat mobilization, research in the Journal of Obesity shows that HIIT uniquely stimulates post-exercise oxygen consumption, increasing caloric burn for up to 24 hours after exercise. A particularly effective protocol involves training in a fed state, 2-3 hours after a meal, with 4 to 6 rounds of 30-second maximum effort sprints, followed by 3 to 4 minutes of recovery. Fifth, optimize your hormone profile. Research published in Endocrine Reviews shows that insulin sensitivity plays a critical role in regional fat loss. When insulin sensitivity improves, the body becomes more efficient at mobilizing stubborn fat. Strategic timing of carbohydrates primarily around training sessions, along with adequate sleep, 7 to 9 hours, and stress management, has been shown to dramatically improve insulin sensitivity and accelerate stubborn fat loss. The research particularly emphasizes sleep quality. A study in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that subjects sleeping 5.5 hours per night lost 55% less fat from stubborn areas compared to those sleeping 8.5 hours, even with identical caloric intake and exercise protocols. This demonstrates that recovery and hormonal optimization are equally as important as diet and exercise for targeting stubborn fat. For specific problem areas, research supports targeted protocols. For abdominal fat, studies in the Journal of Hepatology demonstrate that reducing fructose consumption significantly accelerates fat loss in this region due to the liver's role in fructose metabolism and its proximity to visceral fat. For lower body fat, research in adipocyte shows that protocol combining regular cold exposure, such as cold showers or ice application, with specific alpha-2 antagonist supplements like yohimbine, when used under professional guidance, can enhance mobilization from these typically stubborn areas by temporarily blocking alpha-2 receptors. For implementation, begin with establishing a sustainable caloric deficit through a nutrient-dense diet. Implement fasted morning cardio 3-4 times weekly for 30-45 minutes, while incorporating 2 HIIT sessions weekly in a fed state. Ensure adequate protein intake throughout the day, and time carbohydrates primarily around workouts. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and consider strategic supplementation with compounds like caffeine before fasted training to enhance catecholamine response. Track progress not just by weight, but through circumference measurements and progress photos. As research shows, body composition changes often occur without significant changes in scale weight. What truly separates successful fat loss from stubborn areas isn't finding some secret exercise or magical food. It's understanding the physiological mechanisms that regulate fat storage and mobilization, then consistently applying evidence-based protocols that work with your body's natural processes rather than against them. In our next video, we'll explore advanced protocols for naturally optimizing recovery mechanisms through targeted nutritional and lifestyle interventions. If you found this information valuable, subscribe to BioPrime Health for our continued exploration of evidence-based health optimization. This is BioPrime Health, where science transforms potential into performance. Have you struggled with stubborn fat in specific areas? Let me know in the comments below which strategies you'll be implementing from today's protocol.